don't know is that I had a chance to really like be a full-fledged manager because I actually managed three fighters in the past. I ain't gonna say their names and put them out on blast because some of them, we still got like feelings, so I ain't gonna, we ain't gonna say that because it could be a war. But it was like this. I'm gonna try to keep this under 10 minutes. But they came to him, one of the guys I knew since high school. He's already been fighting. They came to him with a deal, and they's like, okay, we want you to sign it, and we got what you asked for. Where's your manager? And he said, you got a manager, right? He's like, yeah. And then he went and called me and was like, hey, I need you to be my manager for me. Just look at this and, tell me what you think, and then I'll sign it. Everything's already in there. I'll give you some $100 just for looking at it. So I'm like, all right, well, you my guy. I'll take a look at it. No problem. But I'm not a manager. I'm a manager at my job, but I'm not a business manager. I do business marketing. Now, if you want to sell some energy drinks, I'm your man, but, I can't promise you nothing. So I go down there, I take a look at it, and then I sign on as his manager. When the spot for manager comes up, I sign my name. But that contract that you have is between fighter and manager. So we really technically didn't have a contract. And all these other managers that's in the business, they have like management general firms and people that work for them, and they're charging like 37%, and I just charged 20 to him, and I just told him that based off mouth. The only contract we signed was the one he signed when he went on with the company that he did. Now, in all fairness, people need to understand that fighters get asked all the time by promoters when they see they don't have no manager or a weak manager. They ask them like, so what do you want? And fighters love that because they can just be upfront and honest. But the thing is, the problem is fighters don't know what they're worth. Now, if you tell a promoter a number that he's like comfortable with hearing, oh, you'll get that money, and he might throw in an extra 10 grand just to make it look like, look, I'm being fair to you. I'm gonna try to get, you want 50, I'm gonna get you 60. You see, that means he's gonna make a killing in the business, and that happens all the time. That's why you always talk through your manager, but make sure your manager is open and really understands the game. Because I went in there with no experience. I didn't really know too much. The only way I found out a lot of what was going on is really sports writers. Sports writers had all the background information. They'll tell you what the gate was from the last fights, and then I would use that as the asking price. I would say, because the promoter would ask the manager one thing, and you'll hit it 90% of the time. So what your guy want? That's what you're going to hear. So what your guy wants. And then they're going to tell you what they can give you. No matter what number you say, they're going to say, well, I got the expenses here. This guy pulled out. I had the sponsor lined up. All of that means nothing. All of it is rhetoric. The number you say, you never budge off that number. You go higher, if anything. You never go lower. Because once you go lower, that means that you didn't feel comfortable with the first number you gave. And they know that, and they take full advantage of it. Out of all the negotiation I did, the first number I asked for, we got. All the time, that as a minimum. We even got higher. We got everything, every fight I've done with them, it was that way. Now, people are like, why you ain't stick it out in management? See, it's not the glamour and glitz like you thought. You might want to think. My fighters just started out, he wasn't making any money. He's really getting paid like $1,000, if that, a fight. So every 4 weeks, he's getting paid $1,000 take home. He'll try to give me $100 or whatever, like try to give me $150, $200. Now who can live off $200 every 4 weeks? You couldn't do that. And then he got expenses, he got rent, and then he got to buy equipment and be in the gym. So he really wasn't making any money. The money was going to come down the line, and that's what the thing about being a manager is you have to have your door open for all these opportunities. And I still had my job, which was paying me pretty good. I'm making like $37,000 a year just doing that job. So I'm like, look, I got a job paying me $37,000. I'm not finna screw that up. I've been working here for a couple of years. I'm not finna screw that up to try to be something that I didn't want to do. I love boxing, but I would have rather been a promoter than to be a manager. So what I did was I said, the other two guys that wanted me to manage them, they actually did pretty good. You know, we was out in Cicero and did a couple of fights out there on that card at Cicero. And the only thing I didn't like about Cicero was dealing with the promoters there. Now, they were the most shadiest promoters ever. I will give 8 Count Promotions their props. Octavius James, rest in peace. He was fair. He pretty much knew I was inexperienced and was pretty much working with me and teaching me how to talk to promoters and how to ask for different things. So when I went out to Cicero and dealt with some of those guys who were trying to be snakes, and because they were snakes, I was able to deal with it, you know, and like, okay, well, my guy's finna get what we asked for, or that's it. You know, I knew how important the ranking system was, you know, and people don't understand that when you have an exclusive contract with people, and that's something that needs to be discussed. An exclusive contract is a contract, well, it's exclusive, so it's pretty much self-explanatory, which means you have territories in the contract that says your fighter has to make so many appearances here, or your fighter has to do this, or he has to do that. There's he has to maintain something to get certain benefits, or he's in violation of the contract. And what the exclusive contract does is protects you. That means that they have an interest in you. So it was a couple of fighters that had that. My fighters didn't have this exclusive contract. But what one of the clauses was, and people don't know how far clauses go. Clauses between manager and promoter and fighter. Like, we had a clause where we wanted this fight with this one guy from Wisconsin, but the only way we can get this fight, and then that's why I took this fight, and I wanted to get it because the guy was ranked like 5 notches higher than we are, and I knew we could beat him. And the guy, he didn't have the mindset to want to fight. He just wanted to get some money. He didn't care about the ranking system. He didn't know how he was getting paid. See, the ranking system is important. The higher ranked you are, the more value you are as far as the rating system, so that's how your pay grade is. And a lot of fighters don't know that also. So if you move up in the rankings by beating someone top in the ranks, it matters. But the promoter didn't want to take it because he didn't want to pay for the expenses. So we had to put down in the contract, one of the clauses, we'll pay for the guy's traveling expenses to come out for the fight. So I had to pay for the guy's travel expense, and him and his trainer drove from Wisconsin all the way to Indiana, Maryville, Indiana, to fight my guy. And we won the fight easy because the guy wasn't even trained. He just was somebody who was ranked, and I couldn't believe he was. But that's how it goes. A lot of people come in the game, and they fight just for the money to pay the rent. They gotta take care of the kids. They don't fight to be champions, and that's what's hurting the sport right now. They don't really fight to be champions. You fight to win the championship first. The money will come, because once you fighting for money, you'll do anything. Your hunger is there. You don't have that what it takes to make it over the top, because once you get in the ring and you're going to get paid, win, lose, or draw, you got your money. So where's your hunger? What's your desire to win now? You're already getting your money, so it's got to come from something else. It has to come from within. If you don't have it in you, that's why those other 2 guys, I had to give them the people that could get them to the next level, because I couldn't be there for them. I'm like, I can't be a manager and do my job at the same time. So I had to let those guys go. And I said, okay, well, you guys can go ahead and I'll get you to somebody that can take you, on, and they do this for a living. And that's what I did for them. I was fair to them. The guy who I started with, who begged me to look at his contract, gets on ESPN. That's as far as we went. He went to ESPN. He took the fight on 2 weeks' notice. He lose. He blames me. He got paid so many thousands of dollars. I mean, so many tens of thousands for that fight. He made a lot of money off that fight. That's why he took it on 2 weeks' notice. I told him it might be a cancellation, that he might be called up, because it was looking like the guy who was scheduled to fight wasn't gonna make it anyway. He was partying and bullshitting because he was on a win streak, hanging out, getting pats on the back. Then when he finally got a shot at the big time, he choked. And what did he do? Blame his manager. I'm not the one that's training you. That's not my job. You have a trainer. Your trainer can't make you go in the gym and train. That's not his job to babysit you. Your job is to win the fight. I did the job. I got you paid. And then you wanted to stiff me for no reason. But it's over 10 minutes, but we'll continue with the business of boxing on part 3.